Good morning, everyone. My name is Jarek Langer. I am a second-year MBA student at MIT Sloan, part of the research papers team for the sports conference. It is my pleasure today to welcome Sarah Stone and Michelle Mole, who will be talking about how Tableau is being used for the Texas Rangers. In terms of just logistics, we're going to have about 20 minutes for the presentation, and then we'll do about 5 minutes of Q&A. Just raise your hand. I'll try to get you the microphone, and just speak loudly into the mic so we can hear the question. And with that, please join me in welcoming the Tableau team.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to get started here with the video.
Considered a relatively dull set of tools.
Each department kind of made their own spreadsheets. So I would take some sales data and make my own version of what I thought I wanted to see.
We have started kind of a new group. We call it the Analytics Task Force. The big project that really brought us all together was saying, hey, let's get a hold of this ticketing data and let's present it in a manner that almost anyone can interact with.
So now that we have Tableau, all of that information is right at our fingertips.
We have a lot of data sources, which for a data nerd is really fun. It gives us a broader scope picture of who's buying tickets from us. Once they get in the ballpark, are they buying merchandise? Are they buying food and beverage?
We get a lot more insightful information and actionable information from visualizations than we ever could from that old, blunt, dull tool set that we had before.
With our real-time analytics, we're able to do things like make staffing decisions on the fly.
We had a severe rain delay one day, and when we pulled that real-time data up, we realized that we hadn't sold a ticket within the last 15 minutes. We could probably shut down 75% of our windows, which in turn saved us additional money on staffing costs that day.
Tableau has really helped us understand how to better use the resources that we have.
I can't hit a home run, I can't strike someone out, but I can do my job every day and hopefully have an impact on the success of the organization. I think in the last year we've hit a home run with Tableau.
All right, I'm Ben Jones, Product Marketing Director. Ben Jones, Product Marketing Director at Tableau Software, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this presentation today. And we're going to be talking with Sarah Stone and Michelle Noel about how the Texas Rangers are using Tableau for their business operations. And so welcome, please, with me, Sarah Stone and Michelle Noel. Come on up.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good lunchtime. Glad to see you all here. We just want to say thanks, first of all, to Tableau. Obviously, we're here today to talk about how we're using Tableau in our business operations at the Texas Rangers. My name is Sarah Stone. This is Michelle Noel. Katie Morgan was originally supposed to be here as well. She got trapped in Dallas in a snowstorm, ironically enough. You saw her in the video, and yes, I often sit in the stands and have a serious face and contemplate life like you saw there. We're giving our presentation in Tableau today so we can show you some of its interactivity. Here's what we're going to go over. We're first going to talk to you a little bit about the structure of our analytics team on the business side of the front office. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what data sources we're currently connected to and what we're really looking at to impact our business decisions. And then finally, the main part of the talk is going to be showing you some examples of the dashboards we've made and hopefully tell you some interesting stories about what we've actually done with this information. Also today, we wanted to make this a little interactive and fun, and at baseball games, we love having giveaways. So we're going to have 3 trivia questions for you. Whoever answers them gets a ballpark cap over there. Our colleague Justin will hand it out to you. So I made them really easy. The answer is actually on this slide. Name that Ranger. Whose slash line is this? You, sir. Correct! correct, and he gets a hat. So raise your hand. Thank you for participating. We love free stuff. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Michelle, and she's going to talk about our structure and our data sources.
Thanks, Sarah. So who works on this stuff at the Rangers? We have a team of about 4 people that we call the Analytics Ops team. We have desktop licenses, and we are basically the creators of all the stuff that we use. We get together at least once a week, sometimes more, constant emails back and forth, but we get together and we brainstorm, we create, we design what we think different aspects of our business are going to use. So that's the ops team. Again, there's only about 4 of us right now. We don't really have an analytics department. Each one of us are in our own respective departments. We have representations from IT, marketing, ticket sales. So we bring those pieces of knowledge from all of the other parts of the business, and we collaborate together and say, hey, this is how we're going to get the data. I'm the SQL person. I can write the code and get to the data, where Sarah knows about the marketing part, and Katie and Justin know about the ticketing part and how they all interact and relate to each other. So that has been very successful for us to be able to spread that across, because we're all, like I said, we're all bringing those different pieces of knowledge from different parts of the business and collaborating together. The things that we design and we create, we then publish out to server, and we take it to what we call the analytics task force. Those are our executives. So we sit there and we say, hey, we think this is important, or here are the little bits of knowledge or actionable items that can come from this viz or this piece of analytics, and we take it to our executives. And that just creates more and more questions, right? Don't you guys see that in your own business as you start to create stuff and you look at it and you say, wait a minute, wow, what about this and what about this? And you can end up going down all these different rabbit holes. Well, that's what we do with our task force. So those are our executives that are looking at what we create, giving us feedback as to what else they want to see. We also brought on board for a short time an analytics intern from SMU, which is a local college. Super smart guy who is actually just helping us with the statistical part of stuff. We're bringing the business knowledge, okay, but we don't really have that knowledge that we can create, like the predictive modeling or the retention analysis. So he feeds off of us. We give him the data, we give him that business knowledge, and he does the statistical part of it. So that's part of our team. That's how we are set up. So what data are we looking at? Where are we getting all of our stuff? So we started out actually looking at real-time reporting. So we were queued into our retail database. We were queued into our ticket sales, and we were just looking at what was happening right now. It's where we started, just basic stuff. So then when our ticket data they switched platforms, and we were able to get a replicated data. Okay, so we have a replicated database, which allows us even deeper reporting. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is take down your live system, right? So you don't want to be in there trying to run reports when you're selling tickets. Those two things just don't go well together. So we have a replicated database that we use for a lot of our ticketing data. We also are in the process of designing a warehouse. So that's historical data, all the ancillary data like weather, demographics, all that kind of stuff. So we can just go pull bits and pieces and see what might relate to other things. How does weather or temperature relate to attendance? That kind of stuff. So we also have turnstile data, real live, as it happens, turnstile data. And Sarah will show you a lot of the stuff that we do with analytics with that. When she came on board, she brought Tableau in with her, and it's like opened up a world of many colors for us. Our analytics has just taken off. So we use our real-time gate link with a heat map. So we can see who's coming in, what gate, at what time. And that helps us with staffing, okay, where we know where the logistics and where the flow is. CRM data, so we link into that with our sales. Anything that happens with a customer or how we're interacting with that customer. Microcall, how the sales reps are calling, how many calls they're making, how long their calls are. And then again, we talked about the predictive modeling. What happens, how does weather affect attendance, or how do giveaways affect attendance? And again, Sarah will show you some of the examples of stuff that we've done for that. So with that, right, I believe, turn it over to you.
All right, so we have another transitional question here. Which Rangers pitcher is 500 strikeouts at 600 now, faster than any pitcher ever? Yes, ma'am. Incorrect. Yes, sir. Yu Darvish, he's the winner. You get a prize. Thank you for participating. And there he is, Yu Darvish. Okay, so let's get to some of the fun parts, the dashboards that we've been making that we're using. I just have to note that all this data you see in big red letters is fake data. So the real dashboards, they're real data sets. I took them and changed them just so that it's not real. Okay, this was a big one for us. Tickets sold, actual to budget. And there's a lot happening in this dashboard, but I'll walk you through. It was extremely helpful for us. During the season, say we want to get to 3 million fans. You budget that out per game. How many fans do you need each game to meet the revenue and your ticket sales for that year? So usually we would just send out this spreadsheet saying, here's our budgeted amount of tickets that we have to sell, and here's what we sold, and that would be sent out every day. Well, instead of having just a spreadsheet, we've now put this into a live dashboard. So there's a couple important things happening here. First of all, you could choose any event, any game. There'd be 81 games here. We did not play the Washington Nationals last year, but I put them in here anyways. Right here is a dual axis bar graph, okay? The green circle is the budgeted amount of revenue we needed to get for this particular game. The green circle down here is the budgeted amount of tickets we needed to get for a certain game. And as the week would progress, and as you get closer to the homestand, you'd see that light green bar hopefully growing closer to the budgeted amount. And that kind of helped us see throughout the week how are our games looking. Season versus individual is a big deal, so we kind of had that broken down over here. I want to bring your attention to this kind of sad-looking line chart down here. That's a representation of the individual ticket sales, right? So season ticket sales are all taken care of basically when the season begins. Not much is going to change there. That's our foundation. What I focus on in the marketing department is the individual ticket sales, right? That's why I'm running ads, to get those people to go buy individual tickets. Well, when we made this, you can see that, okay, there's a spike there. That was probably a big group of people. And then on the very last day of the game right here, it's about 3,000 tickets sold. That's a lot for walk-up. Okay, so we use this dashboard to see how ticket sales are going. But what does it mean? Has this changed anything for us? Yes, it has. This is like a metadata kind of thing. You can't see it too well right here, but it's a representation of all 81 games and at what point in time did people start buying them. So this is from opening day all the way to the last game of the season, and then this is time. So what I noticed from a marketing perspective was that the darker areas right here, a lot of people are buying tickets on the day of the game, and in fact, about 35% of all individual tickets sold are walk-up tickets, which is a number that we thought was too high. So from a marketing perspective, I wanted to get people to buy tickets earlier, right? So when you look at this, there we go. When you look at this game right here was a game in September, and it had a lot of sales going on early on, and that's what we'd like every game to look like. These are kind of spotty right here. That was like that because the Atlanta Braves were coming into town, and it was an unusual opponent, right? So people were buying early. So one thing that's changed in my world is that I've changed the way I've placed my TV buys. Usually we would take a homestand, right? Use our TV buys to say, hey, there's $1 hot dog night, there's a bobblehead on Thursday, there's Friday fireworks, and a concert on Saturday. Come to every single game. Instead, we're trying to get people to buy tickets earlier. So I've set up a Monday to Monday TV buy, focusing on a Tuesday game and only focusing on that Tuesday game. So it's changed the way that we've placed our media buys to try to get people to buy earlier. So in this representation right here, the blue area are the people who bought day of game. The red are the people who bought 5 days out, and this pink is like 6 days out, then further on. So for each 81 games, what does the distribution look like? We want to get that blue area down. A lot of the times with our visualizations, we take what other teams in MLB or other sports team has done and we change it and we work upon it. And this is kind of one of those examples. So this is a really exciting report for us because it shows 3 different things as the season's taking place. We're looking at our budgeted attendance for the next 30 games, what our predictive model says the attendance is going to be, and where we're actually at. So the gray bar right here is the budgeted amount we need to reach for this particular game to get to our overall budget. The thin blue line is what the predictive model tells us, right? So they're kind of different, and we update this model as time goes on. And finally, this little red line is where we're at. So this was kind of taken, our season hasn't started yet, so that's why the red line is so low. Don't worry, it will change. But this has been super helpful for us because in one glance, we can look at the next however many games in a homestand and say, okay, well, the model's saying that this April 15th game right here is going to do really well, but we don't have it budgeted doing really well. What's really going on here? It gives us a quick snapshot of what's happening. Skip this one. So ballpark map has been huge for us. Tableau is wonderful because you can create your own custom polygons and create your own maps and map really anything in Tableau, so yay for them for doing that. So they helped us build this ballpark map where we're connected live to our ticket database. So as tickets are sold, or if you want to look at which tickets are available by section, this updates every 15 minutes, and it tells you, okay, what percentage of lower reserved has been sold, or what percentage of the upper deck has been sold for a certain game. You can look at this by buyer type. You only want to look at people who spent 20 game plans versus full season tickets. What we're really excited about this for this season is the fact that we'll connect our gate scans to this. So as people are entering the ballpark, what sections are they filling up faster? And hopefully that will make impacts on our concession staffing and all the other staffing in the ballpark, as well as things like security. More examples of that. This was a cool forecast that we made. It kind of looks like an X-Wing fighter, I think. It's a representation of our season's ticket sales, okay? So let's see, the blue line are new season ticket sales, and the orange line are renewals. So you'll see, and it's by year, so you'll see here in 2010, 2011, we skyrocket with new season ticket sales, obviously because we went to the World Series those 2 years. And then it's kind of fallen back down further on, and the renewals make up a greater percentage, not necessarily the number of sales, but the percentage of sales. So Tableau has allowed us not only to look at real live ticketing data, but it's also given us a tool to look back on our data and make pictures like this that are pretty simple to understand and present it and say, hey, you're not getting a lot of new ticket sales this year, and this is why. Like, you can see it unfold clearly. So it's been really helpful just on looking at past data. This is another visualization of year-over-year growth for season tickets. I'm going to skip some of these. Skip these. Okay. We'll go over this real quick. So one other thing we wanted to touch on other than just ticketing data is how it's helping us with other ballpark operations. So we put our cell phone data in here for uses. This was a helpful report that kind of helped us see when scouts are out of the country, oh, now they're in Toronto this week, so the cell phone rates are going to skyrocket. That's been really helpful for us. Electricity data has been another thing we've taken a look at in Tableau. So we're kind of going all over ballpark operations. We had a concert, a country concert. The concert promoters loved this dashboard because we just sent them a link. It would update every 15 minutes and they'd see their ticket sales. So I kind of want to wrap up with these 4 stories. So, okay, we've got real-time analytics. Tableau has been useful to see this information. It's at our fingertips. But what difference has it really made? Well, first, it's changed the way we've placed our media buy, which is a lot of money. Second, we made a visualization that showed the staffing of our box office hours. And because the box office was able to see their information in such an easy-to-understand way, they moved staff. They said, okay, we don't need people in here any longer, and that saved us a ton of money. There was another instance with Michelle where we took a look at our HR software, what they were charging us. We have a lot of seasonal employees. We said, hey, this doesn't look right. We presented it to the software company, and they said, oh my gosh, you're right. It saved us $40,000. So again, just a simple example of, hey, this is another part of our business. Let's visualize it with Tableau. It makes a difference. And then finally, we recently made a mapping of our suite availability for our suite reps. So what we're finding is when we take this data and we bring it down to the people who are doing this everyday work, who are on the front lines, the sales reps, the marketing people, they're actually making a big use out of it. So the suite reps now have this map where they can look what suites are paid in full, what are deposited, what are open. It makes their job a whole lot easier. So Tableau has made a big impact. So to wrap up, we have one last question here for you. Which Rangers prospect ranked number 6 on Baseball America's 2015 Top 100 Prospects? Anyone? This is maybe a bit of a harder one. Yes, sir? Profar? No, not Profar. Yes, sir? Not Odor. In the back?
Good guesses, though.
Joey Gallo! He's the winner. Thank you so much. He's all the way in the back, Justin. We'll get you the hat afterwards. So the answer is Joey Gallo.
One thing that I did want to point out, we are touching many parts of our business. Sarah's talked about ticketing and marketing. those kind of revelations, if you will, are a little bit more long term. We're still trying to figure it all out. We're just still looking at stuff. What we've done for quick solutions is we've, like she showed, the electricity data, the HR data, stuff within business ops, where we can do very quick visualizations. We can come up with very quick money-saving solutions. And that's where right now we are seeing the biggest impact, because again, they are quick. We can act on those a lot quicker. On the marketing and ticketing side, those take a little bit longer to develop and to learn and to find out and discover.
So that's all we have for you today. Thank you, Tableau, for letting us come up here and show how much we love using your software. And I think it's time for questions now. If anyone has any questions.
So if you have questions, please raise your hand high so I can track you down.
Can you explain a little bit what the impetus is behind trying to avoid walk-up being that large a percentage of your sales?
Right. From the individual ticket perspective, when I'm looking at people who just buy online or people who buy at the box office or buy the day of the game, I'm trying to train the market to buy early so that they're not waiting for the last minute to buy StubHub. It's basically we just want to get that revenue in place. And we want to sell the better inventory quicker. So it's just a strategy we've taken for this amount in time. Our ballpark is 100% dynamically priced. So it's also trying to get him in early.
And it also helps with staffing so that we know what level of game to expect.
With the predictive modeling components that you were showing within the grids, are you actually doing all the predictive modeling analysis also within Tableau, or are you doing that in an external system and then feeding the data back in for visuals?
Right now, we're doing it in an external system. Our intern's been using R,
SAS, yeah.
and SAS. But we know those two things can integrate. So we've been using this for a year. So as we kind of continue forward, we do want to integrate the two of them.
What's the next step for you guys in terms of what's the new data territory that you're going to be implementing? You know, are you expanding the data warehouse? What are you looking at next?
We're looking at more historical reporting because we had an old ticket system that had data on a different platform than our new system. So we really only have about a year or two's worth of data. So we're trying to now merge those two so we can do some more historical reporting. Again, it's just looking at, I think mainly, well, the seat map. We're going to expand more on the seat mapping, and the historical reporting, I think, are our top 2 bullet points right now. Would you agree? But who knows? You know, we're always coming up with new things. When we all get together, it's like a creative little magic masterpiece.
Hi. What are you, with the data warehouse you're building? Are you building that internally, and how big a project is that?
We're kind of doing it internally. We don't really have a database engineer or database architect, so we're looking for some contractors to help us with that. We have the concept, we know what we want in there, we know what the outcome, what we need. We just need the help putting it together. We also understand that it's going to be so changing that what we build might not be what we end up with 2 or 3 or 4 years down the road, and we're going to have to rebuild it. But we at least have to start somewhere. So it's all of that historical data, it's all of our demographics, it's our weather, it's, you know, you name it, we could probably dump it in there. But we do need help with an architect to help us figure all that out. Again, we know what we want, we just don't know how to get there.
One of the strong points with Tableau is kind of it being for self-service BI, so I didn't know if you had any end users creating their own reports out of Tableau, or if you kind of just make the reports for them and kind of hand them over and maybe parameterize them.
Yeah, that's a great question and a great point. I'm not an IT person. I didn't take a stat class in college. I'm not an analyst. I'm like a marketing and advertising person. But Tableau is so user-friendly that I can go in there, I can write simple formulas, I can write simple SQL queries, I can use it. So the fact that none of us are actually like statisticians or business people at all, we all have full-time jobs, and so we've all kind of gotten together. Tableau is so user-friendly that you can basically Google something and learn how to do it. We're looking to actually expanding our, like actually creating an analytics department, have people who know what they're doing really to help guide us in the bigger kind of areas.
But right now, we develop it. We have the server. We have desktop, which we build, and then we publish to the server. So we have, 35 or so server licenses. So the execs or the managers of the departments can log in and see what we've published. And because we have so many dynamic filters on there, they can move things around and slice and dice it however they want. And then it's real-time data. It's updated every 15 minutes. So they still get, we can control, not really, I don't want to say control, but we can design them faster probably than they can. So right now, that's where we're at. But we envision expanding it to more people, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah and Michelle.